Keen to improve your essays for inspector calls? Well, in this video I'm going to build up slowly, stage by stage, and show you how you can create that perfect grade 9 essay. So stay tuned. Let's get you higher marks for OCR GCSE English Literature essays on Priestley's and inspector calls. You're watching Schofield on Shakespeare.
Here's what I will be covering in this video. You can skip to any of these sections by using the hyperlinks within the description box below, although I would recommend watching the video in sequential order. In the OCR GCSE English Literature exam, you will have 2 writing tasks to complete in relation to an inspector calls. For part A, you will need to compare an extract from an inspector calls with an extract from an unseen text. For part B, you will then write an essay just on an inspector calls, which picks up from the theme introduced in part A, but which requires you to focus on another moment. This video will help you write better essays for part B, although note that I have removed another from my sample question for obvious reasons. Here's what the mark scheme looks like. At the top end, the best responses show an outstanding understanding of the play, so you would have read it multiple times and watched at least one production, ideally in a theatre or alternatively any film version. You write formally, accurately and engagingly and focus sharply on the question. You embed plenty of relevant, deliciously precise quotations. And remember, this exam is closed book, and so you need to have memorized enough of these before entering that exam hall. And after quoting, you probe the language form and structure and explore effect. Why has this particular word been used? What exactly does it mean in this context, and what is the effect of this? And finally, you use subject terminology accurately, i.e. words and phrases such as noun, adverb, dramatic irony, complex sentence. Here's a sample question that we're going to do some work on. However, given that we haven't had part A, the question has been rephrased to explore a moment in the play that shows a character feeling unhappy. And I'm going to give you a moment from the text to use. The opening of Act 2, when Sheila is particularly unhappy. Whip open your text and reread the first few pages again of this act. If using the hardback Heinemann edition, read pages 27 and 28. Press pause to do this now. The video will resume in 5 seconds time. Now, time for some discussion or independent note-taking. Why is Sheila feeling unhappy at this point in the play? What has happened prior to this? What adds to her unhappiness in this extract, and what quotations might you use to illustrate this and explore? Get thinking. Again, the video will resume in 5 seconds time. How should you structure your main paragraphs? Well, here's a paragraph I have written on this question and moment within the play. One reason Sheila is unhappy at the beginning of Act 2 is that she recognises that the inspector seems to have an uncanny knack of uncovering dark secrets within her family. The stage directions are revealing. Sheila speaks with a hysterical laugh to Gerald. This suggests that she has become overexcited and over-emotional as she struggles to comprehend both how the inspector seems to know so much about the family and how he manages to get each of them to reveal shameful incidents from their past. This hysterical unhappiness stems partly from a feeling of lack of control, something unusual for the complacent Berling family. but also from her own guilt that she blackmailed the manager of Millwoods into firing an innocent young girl who later apparently killed herself by drinking disinfectant. So, how is this paragraph structured? Well, I start with a topic sentence which focuses sharply on the question. I continue by backing up the point with a short, relevant, precise, embedded quotation. Next comes the exploration, the delving into language, seen here in the explanation about the adjective hysterical. And finally, I have the development of my initial idea, in which I show a more detailed understanding of the question and text. Now, your turn to build up writing insightful paragraphs. Here is a partially written paragraph on the same question and moment. Read it through to yourself. Based on the quotation, what point might you make about Sheila's unhappiness? Why is she staying to listen to Gerald's revelations? And what is she getting at when she says that she's glad she realised it in time? Press pause and get writing. I wrote, another reason Sheila is unhappy is that her relationship with Gerald has rapidly disintegrated following the implicit revelation that he had a summer affair with Eva Smith. Once again, the stage directions are revealing. She speaks bitterly to Gerald. So that's what you think I'm really like. I'm glad I realised it in time, Gerald. These words follow Gerald's suggestion that Sheila is only staying to listen to Gerald's revelations because she wants to witness him experiencing the same public feelings of shame and embarrassment that she had earlier. The adverb bitterly indicates that her tone of voice contains resentment, whilst the phrase in time seems to imply relief that she has discovered the lack of genuine understanding in their relationship before their wedding, with the further implication being that she may not want to marry Gerald after all. Sheila feels as though Gerald has not only had an affair, but may not understand her character, what she's really like, and this realisation is adding to her misery. How does your response compare? Are you similarly precise yet reasonably detailed with your initial points? Have you avoided oversimplification when explaining why Sheila is listening to Gerald's revelations? And have you shown perceptive understanding when exploring the phrase in time? Press pause to consider and compare. Here's another opportunity for you to write a magnificent paragraph by following the instructions and structure on screen now. So, it's pause time. I wrote, however, probably the biggest reason Sheila is miserable is because, unlike her father, she recognises the key role she played in the appalling death of Eva Smith. She is so distressed by the inspector's deliberately emotive, raw description of Eva Smith's death, but she died in misery and agony, hating life, that she has to interrupt him. Don't, please, I know. Her language has become fragmentary, with her only being able to speak in phrases as opposed to full sentences, which reflects her inner turmoil and misery. The inspector has forced her to reassess her past behaviour at Millwoods, and she now recognises that her actions were disgracefully selfish and morally abhorrent. At this point in the play, she hates herself for this. Note that my topic sentence isn't just using the same boring formula, but is phrased in a different way to the previous paragraphs. I am evaluating Sheila's misery and signposting to the reader and examiner that there is a big point on the way. Note also the way that I embed two quotations so that my writing seamlessly flows. And how does your language analysis and development of your argument compare? Should I perhaps have been more detailed on language on this occasion? time to let you loose on your own paragraph without any help at all. The question has changed. Explore a moment in the play that shows a character feeling angry. However, I have helped you in that I have given you a moment to focus on from Act 3. I'd recommend not just reading Eric's speech here, taken from page 55 of the hardback Heinemann edition, but the surrounding pages as well, so that you recall exactly what is happening in the play at this point. So, write me a wonderful paragraph, goddammit. Press pause now. Here's my paragraph. When Eric realizes that his mother played a significant role in causing the death of Eva Smith, he becomes so angry and emotional that he loses control. He confronts her and cries, "My child, your own grandchild, you killed them both, damn you, damn you." Eric is once again speaking in fragments. He's far too upset and furious to be able to speak in coherent sentences. In this particular quotation, he focuses on the fact that Eva Smith was pregnant, and so his mother's refusal to offer charitable support, seemingly based exclusively on her indignation about Eva suggesting her name was Burling, as well as her perceptions about the girl's manner, contributed to the death of his own unborn son. He uses personal pronouns, my, your, to highlight the fact that his mother's cold-blooded refusal has impacted them directly as a family in a horribly personal, painful way. Meanwhile, his use of the verb killed, which is not technically correct as Eva committed suicide, shows that he is so angry at this point that he wants to pin all the blame for Eva's death on his mother, when the whole point of the play is to emphasize that all family members have to take collective responsibility for their actions. Finally, the exclamatory curse "damn" would have been particularly shocking to a contemporary audience living within a world in which traditional notions of respect towards parents, irrespective of difficult circumstances, were expected. However, Eric's anger at his parents' smug, complacent failure to take responsibility for their actions has resulted in him steamrolling the traditional expectations of parent-child relationships. The inspector has been successful with him, at least. How does this paragraph meet the requirements of the mark scheme? So, we need the coherent, critical style, the informed personal response, the consistently perceptive understanding. This is shown in detailed references to the text, not just within this moment, but from earlier as well, relevant because it explains just why Eric is so angry here. I also spin out from the moment to show insight into the play as a whole. One key aim of Priestley is to emphasize the importance of all of those, especially those from the middle and upper classes, taking responsibility for their actions and being able to show compassion for those less fortunate than themselves. There are plenty of textual references, both used as quotations, but also re-quoted to allow me to give more pertinent insights. The analysis of language, form and structure is particularly detailed, aided by the re-quoting of individual words. Finally, I use subject terminology naturally and accurately.
So, what are we looking for with these Inspector Calls essays? Well, we're looking for really sharp, detailed focus on the question throughout. We're looking for interesting choice of quotations, and you need to do that quite carefully when we think that much of the language within an Inspector Calls is quite simple. We're looking for that honing in, that detailed exploration of language, and then the development of your argument throughout the paragraph. I hope it's been useful, and many thanks for watching Schofield on Shakespeare.